The ocean doesn't care about your schedule. It doesn't care about profit margins, safety records, or how many years you've worked offshore. When the sea decides to move, it moves. And everything in its path either bends or breaks. Out there, far beyond the horizon, stand metal giants, offshore oil platforms, some of the most isolated workplaces on Earth. And when a storm builds on the open sea, they become fortresses in the middle of chaos. But how do you prepare a structure the size of a skyscraper, sitting on water, to face a hurricane the size of a country? That's what most people never see. Before we dive in, hit subscribe, because the next storm we uncover, it's even worse than this one. Every year, thousands of oil workers head out to sea, to rigs that sit hundreds of miles from shore. From above, they look almost peaceful. Steel towers surrounded by endless blue, waves glittering under the sun. But below that calm, a storm is always waiting, and when it comes, it's fast, unpredictable, and merciless. Before the first dark clouds even show up, an entire operation begins. Weather data flows non-stop. Satellite feeds, radar sweeps, ocean buoys reporting every tiny change in wind, pressure, and wave height. Onshore command centers watch it like a heartbeat. They're not looking for beauty in the clouds, they're looking for danger. And when they find it, everything changes. The call usually starts quietly. A low-pressure system has formed. Maybe it's still hundreds of miles away, just a swirl of clouds off the coast of Africa, or a disturbance in the Gulf. But every offshore worker knows what that means. The countdown has started. Forecast models are loaded up, updated by the hour. Storm tracks shift like snakes, and every twist can mean life or death for the crews sitting out there. Because unlike land, there's no place to run out at sea. There's only time, and not much of it. Inside control rooms, managers go into storm readiness. It's a phrase that sounds calm, but it means adrenaline. Every hand on deck knows the checklist: secure, prepare, evacuate. In that order. Different companies have their own thresholds. When wind speeds hit certain levels, operations shut down. When barometric pressure drops below a set point, the rig enters alert status. Every minute matters, because if you wait too long, the evacuation window slams shut. Helicopters can't fly once winds climb above safe limits. Crew boats can't cut through waves taller than a building. Once that happens, whoever's left on board stays on board. The process starts with non-essential personnel: cooks, administrative staff, visiting contractors, the first wave out. Helicopters run back and forth, ferrying people to the mainland as long as the skies stay clear. It's not chaos, it's precision. Each trip carefully logged, every head counted. Missing even one person could mean disaster later. What's left behind is a skeleton crew, a few dozen people responsible for locking down an entire city in the sea. They move fast, tying down everything that could fly, folding crane booms, securing hoses and cables, sealing containers, purging gas lines. Everything that isn't bolted becomes a weapon in high wind. Everything that leaks becomes an explosion risk. This phase has a name: storm-hardening. It sounds like construction jargon, but it's closer to ritual. Every bolt, every latch, every door is checked twice. Because once the storm hits, you won't be able to fix anything. You'll just have to survive it. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina tore through the Gulf of Mexico. Over 100 offshore platforms were damaged or destroyed. Some rigs, massive ones, weighing thousands of tons, broke loose and drifted miles away. It was a wake-up call. Since then, the industry has changed. Stronger designs, better forecasting, stricter procedures. But even today, no amount of steel can guarantee safety. During Katrina, a semi-submersible rig, basically a floating platform supported by giant underwater pontoons, lost its mooring lines. It drifted for hours, pulled by the storm like a toy in a bathtub. And yet, the crew survived because their prep was flawless. Systems were shut in, wells sealed, pressure released. They couldn't stop the storm, but they could make sure it didn't kill them. That shut-in is one of the most important parts. When a storm's confirmed to be heading toward a platform, production stops. The flow of oil and gas from deep underground wells is cut off using special valves. some located miles below the surface. You don't want anything moving in those pipes when waves start throwing a 40,000-ton rig around. Pressure is vented, systems are powered down. It's a delicate process that has to be done right, or you risk explosions, leaks, and environmental disasters. Once that's complete, crews focus on the rig itself. Electrical systems are isolated, backup generators tested and fueled. Communication systems triple-checked. Radios, satellite phones, digital relays, everything must survive, because when the eye of the storm passes overhead, that might be their only link to the outside world. Inside the living quarters, it's a strange calm. The walls hum with power, the air smells faintly of oil and metal. Outside, the wind's already starting to howl. Waves grow from whispers to roars. But inside, people are methodical. They have to be. Beds are stripped, windows secured with metal covers, furniture bolted down. Every object, every piece of equipment has a place, and it needs to stay there. Food, water, and medical supplies are stocked for days, sometimes weeks. No one knows how long they might be trapped. Emergency rations are loaded into the storm shelter, the temporary refuge. It's a reinforced room, airtight, fireproof, with its own oxygen supply. If the platform takes a direct hit, that's where they'll wait it out. Communication drills begin. Crew members review their roles, their muster stations, their escape routes. Everyone knows exactly where to go and what to do. There's no room for confusion when seconds count. You'll hear short clipped voices over radios. Copy that. Secured. Moving to shelter. No emotion, just action. And yet, behind those voices, there's something else. Fear. Even the most seasoned offshore veterans feel it. Because once you're out there, surrounded by water on all sides, there's no escaping what's coming. When the storm finally arrives, the world changes. The ocean goes from blue to black. Winds scream across the deck at 100 miles an hour, tearing through the air like jet engines. Waves slam into the legs of the platform, sending shudders through the steel. Rain doesn't fall. It hits sideways, sharp as needles. The noise is constant, deafening. You can't hear your own voice. You can't even think straight. Down below, sensors track everything. Wind speed, structural strain, vibration, pressure. Onshore teams watch in real time, helpless but connected. If something breaks, they'll see it, but they can't fix it. It's up to the people on board to hold it together. In 2017, Hurricane Harvey tested everything again. Winds gusted over 130 miles per hour. Some platforms went dark. Communications lost for hours. But thanks to lessons learned after Katrina and Rita, not a single major offshore rig was lost. The systems worked. Evacuations went smoothly. Storm hardening saved lives. The technology has evolved. Machine learning now scans weather data, spotting patterns long before they become storms. Artificial intelligence predicts which platforms are most at risk. Drone inspections replace dangerous human climbs. But the human element, that's still the heart of it. All the sensors in the world can't stop the wind. Only people can make the right call when it counts. Evacuations are brutal to coordinate. Helicopters can only carry a dozen or so at a time. Flight crews risk their lives flying through gusts and rain. Sometimes they have minutes to get everyone out before the weather closes in. And if they don't make it in time, those left behind must ride out the storm, knowing there's no rescue coming until it's over. Each person wears immersion suits, bright orange, designed to keep them alive in cold water. Inside are locator beacons that send GPS signals in case they're thrown overboard. It's the kind of preparation you hope you never need, but you still make sure it's perfect. And then, as suddenly as it began, it ends. The winds die, the sea calms. The silence after a storm is unreal. It's not peace, it's aftermath. From the air, the damage is surveyed first. Helicopters circle the rigs, cameras scanning for broken cranes, collapsed decks, twisted metal. If something looks wrong, no one lands. Only once it's declared stable do the first engineers touch down. They're the first to step back into the silence. Safety officers, structural inspectors, environmental specialists. Their job, find out what broke and what didn't. They check the welds, the braces, the support legs. They test for leaks. Oil, gas, chemicals, even a hairline crack could mean disaster. Infrared cameras, ultrasonic sensors, pressure monitors, every tool in the arsenal comes out. The goal isn't just to fix things, it's to learn, to understand how the rig held up, how the systems performed, and how to do better next time. In the US, agencies like the Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement review everything. Reports are written, data logged, photos filed. Every storm becomes a lesson, and sometimes those lessons rewrite the rules. After Katrina and Rita, new standards were introduced. Platforms redesigned to withstand stronger winds, higher waves, deeper mooring lines. It cost billions. But the next generation of rigs, the ones standing out there today, owe their survival to those changes. The recovery phase isn't glamorous. It's slow, deliberate, and dangerous. Crews return in waves, electricians, welders, mechanics, each checking a different system, power first, then communications, then drilling. You can't rush it. One wrong move, and pressure in a pipeline could spike, blowing everything apart. So, they take it step by step. Restarting the heart of a rig is like bringing a giant machine back to life, one breath at a time. For days, sometimes weeks, the crew works non-stop, cleaning up debris, repairing damaged sections, running test after test. And even when the lights come back on, the real weight of what just happened lingers. You can feel it in the people. Some hide it behind humor, dark jokes in the cafeteria. Some stay quiet. Storms do that to you. You see waves that could swallow a city and realize just how small you are. Companies know this now. After major storms, mental health support is part of recovery. Counseling, debriefs, rest rotations. Because the fear doesn't disappear just because the skies are blue again. The final step is the debrief. Crew and management sit together, sometimes in a room, sometimes over a video call, and go through everything. What worked, what didn't, what almost went wrong. Every answer matters, because the next storm might come faster. And out there, almost isn't good enough. The data is logged, the lessons stored in company databases, lessons learned reports that future crews will read before they ever set foot on a rig. It's how knowledge survives at sea. Every storm adds another line to that unwritten textbook of survival. Today's offshore platforms are stronger than ever. Some are built to withstand 100-year storms, the kind that statistically happen once a century. They've got steel legs the width of houses, anchors buried deep into the seabed, and control systems so advanced they can monitor every tremor in real time. But still, nature always has the last word. The sea doesn't care about human math. It doesn't follow our schedules. It reminds us again and again that no structure is invincible. The goal isn't to defeat it, it's to respect it. And that's the quiet truth behind offshore oil work. It's not just drilling holes in the ocean floor, it's living with risk every single day. From the moment they step onto the helicopter to the moment they come home, every offshore worker carries that risk like an invisible weight. For the public, oil rigs are just metal silhouettes on the horizon. For the people who live and work there, they're home. A home surrounded by miles of nothing, guarded by storms that can turn deadly in hours. And yet, they go back. Because someone has to keep the world running, even when the sea's trying to shut it down. Every generation of offshore workers inherits the same mission: prepare, survive, rebuild. It's a cycle as old as the industry itself, and it continues, storm after storm, wave after wave. The next time you see a hurricane spinning on the weather map, remember, out there, miles from shore, there are still people. People checking bolts, running drills, sealing valves, fighting not against the storm, but for time. Because when the sea rises and the sky goes black, that's when their real job begins. If you thought this storm was wild, wait till you see what happens when the sea fights back. Tap the video on your screen and keep watching.